morning one and all. Myself Bhavani from Civil Department. Today I am going to give the lecture on definition and terminology of exogenous hazard. Means in this exogenous hazard, what are the different type? What is the definition of this exogenous? And what are the disasters that can be called as exogenous? We can study in this one. Coming to the definition, and in this one, there will be so many. What is the main definition of this exogenous hazard or disaster? Means these exogenous hazards or disaster that can be originate from the process external from the earth crust. Means which may be external from the earth crust. This can be typically related to the atmospheric conditions, environmental conditions, and also hydrological conditions. Like means some of the disaster we can say in this one are cyclones, floods, storms, and also droughts also. Okay, these are all comes under this exogenous disaster or hazards. Next one is define infrequent events, and in this one these natural hazards that can occur sporadically and also unpredictably. Means we can't predict these hazards are going to be happen, that are called as the infrequent events. Means frequently these are not going to be occur, infrequently these are occurring, so that name is also called as the infrequent occurs. Means in a very long intervals these events can be occurring. Means after some years or after some months also these events can be, these infrequent disasters can be seen. Okay, that may include the cyclones, hailstorms, lightning also. Okay, next one is define cyclones. Means what is meant by cyclone? Means these are the intense circular storms that can be originate over warm tropical oceans. Okay, why? Because in this warm tropical oceans only these cyclones can be originated with the very intense circular storms, and it can be characterized due to the low atmospheric pressure and very strong winds and heavy rain. Means when these cyclones are occurring, means there will be so much heavy rain and strong winds will be there. That is called as the cyclones here. And next is classification of the cyclones, and in this classification of cyclones, tropical cyclones, hurricanes, and local storms we can see. What is meant by local storm? Means it will be very smaller in scale, and these storms can include the thunderstorm, hailstorms, and also tornadoes. But when these type of hazards takes place, means it can overall cause the significant local damage. Okay, and next one is what is meant by tropical cyclones. Here, tropical cyclone is nothing but the large scale weather systems which are occurred due to the strong winds and that will rotate around the central low pressure area. Means this can be seen in the tropical oceans. Main causes of this tropical cyclones is when there will be warm ocean water about 26.5 degrees Celsius, and if there are warm ocean water or atmospheric instability and high humidity will be there, and also the pre-existing low pressure will be there. Means these are all contribute towards this cyclone formation. Next one is distribution, and in this one these are some of the areas like Atlantic, Pacific, and also Indian Ocean. These are all give rise towards the tropical cyclones. Means whether it may be cyclones, tufans, hurricanes also. Okay, this can occur, this can be occurred in these areas mainly. Next one is destruction. Means when these tropical cyclones occurred, means that will be occurred with heavy rainfall, high winds it can occur. Means when overall with all these characteristics it can occur, means that will destruct the whole area within some span only. Means there will be, means when this heavy rainfall will be there, means that will give rise towards this floods also. Means overall this flooding area it can just devastate these coastal areas. Next one is what is the human adjustment, perception, and mitigation of these cyclones. First one, what is meant by this human adjustment towards these cyclones are, we have to build the cyclone resistant infrastructure first of all. So we can be very much prepared by these cyclones, and we have to establish the early warning system, and we have to plan the evacuations in some high risk areas also. Next one is perception. Means public awareness can be done, public awareness campaigns we can do, and we can educate the people on this means how these cyclones can be occurred, how they can save themselves, and by educating the people means we have to make them very much prepared and also response towards these cyclones when they are occurring. What is a mitigation process we can done means coastal defenses we can construct like levees, sea walls. When we are going to construct means from that one coastal regions can't be affected, and if you do the afforestation of this coastal regions or also can be happen, and there will be improvement of the urban planning to reduce this impact of cyclones also. Next one is define cumulative atmospheric hazard. Means these type of hazards can be developed over time due to the cumulative effects of this atmospheric processes. This may include the floods, droughts, and also cold waves, heat waves. When these type of slow occurring hazards they occurred means that also damage the climatic conditions, but due to it will take some times to affect the whole climatic condition. Okay, next one is floods. Here floods are nothing but the overflow events where the water that will inundates the land and that will usually dry. Means when there will be heavy rainfall means floods are going to be occur automatically, and if these are occur means water will just inundate into the water surface, and that water surface if it is dry means it with this flood water it will make that dryness into the wet. Okay, means these can be caused due to the excessive rainfall or storm surges or dam failures and also the river overflow. Means because of these floods also there will be so much dangerous towards the society, so we have to construct the dams and we have to construct the so much we have to take the so many precautions to eradicate or mitigate this type of floods here. Mainly what are the main causes of this floods means heavy rainfall. Means if there are prolonged and intense rainfall means that can easily cause the drainage system that will lead towards these floods. Why? Because if there is intense rainfall continuously for some week or some days also, it can overall fill the drainage systems and also the rivers and also the dams. Means in dams it is overall filled means the dam water they have to release towards the downstream, and because of the releasing of that water also floods can occur that will lead towards the flooding also sometimes. And next one is river overflow. Means when rivers can exceed their capacity means due to this upstream rainfall or heavy rainfall or snow melt, when there will be river overflow means that can also cause these floods. Next one is storm surges, and in the storm surges when there is elevated sea levels that can be caused due to this strong wind means that can also lead towards the coastal flooding. During cyclones we can see this type of storm surges. Next one is dam failure, and when there will be collapsing of these dams or levees or sea walls that can release the very large amount of the water suddenly towards the downstream, that also leads towards the floods. Next one is what are the flood hazards in our India or regions affected. Means when these floods occur means what are the regions in our India that can be affected easily, or area towards this Indo-Gangetic plains they can be very much affected because of this floods, and Brahmaputra basin and also the coastal regions which are prone towards this flooding. Next one is monsoon impact. And in this monsoon effect, the Indian monsoon that will significantly influences this frequency and also the intensity of the floods. Means we can't say at what intensity these floods can happen. Means frequently some of the floods can be happen and some may be happen very rarely. So if the overall Indian monsoons can be influences the frequency and also the intensity of these floods. And next one is control methods of these floods. And in these control methods, firstly, human adjustment. Means we have to construct the embankments and also flood waves and also reservoirs to manage this flood water. Means excess of the water we can see means we have to store in the reservoir. Means of course reservoir will be having some capacity only. Means if it started to get excess plenty of the water in that reservoir also, we have to release that reservoir water. Okay, so if we want these floods to control means these reservoirs we can construct flood waves, we can construct embankments, we can construct. Next perception will be, here we can promote the awareness and preparedness among the communities flood the flood prone areas. Means we already know where these flood prone areas will be there. Means we have to prepare the people and we have to give awareness towards this people when these floods are going to be occur. Next one is mitigation. Means how we are going to mitigate these floods means to implement the early warning systems or to improve the drainage system and reforestation to reduce this runoff also. Means we have to we can done the reforestation. Why? Because of this deforestation, they will get so much damage towards the climatic condition. Means to mitigate that one, reforestation can be done to reduce this runoff. If the reforestation is there, means what will happen? Trees will going to take the water. Means if the flood water can be taken with these trees, means some of the water can be reduced and that cannot cause these floods also. Next one is droughts. And what is meant by this droughts means these are nothing but the prolonged period of the insufficient rainfall that will lead towards the water shortages that will affect the ecosystem, agriculture and also the human settlements. Droughts are nothing but very low rainfall occurred at some region means that will lead towards the water shortage. That will whole affect the economy, environmental condition and social conditions of the country well-being. First of all, what is the main impact of this droughts or agricultural losses? And in this agricultural losses, when there will be very less amount of rainfall in that season means that will lead towards the crop failures. Means that will also lose the livestock and also it will reduce food production also. Next one is water scarcity. Means in this water scarcity, when there will be no water because of this less rainfall means there will be reduction of the water availability for drinking facility, sanitation facility and for the industrial use also. If there is no water means that will impact the growing of these industries also. Next one is economic depends. Means these droughts are also cause the economic losses in the agriculture and also agriculture dependent nations and also the communities. Okay, means overall in our India also mainly some percent we will be depending on this agriculture only. If these droughts occur means that will be big impact towards this agriculture crop growth. Means that also lead towards the loss of economy for our country. And what are the control methods for these droughts or human adjustments? What we can do means water conservation techniques we may get. Means of course there will be so much development of advanced technology nowadays. From using that one we can just conserve the water and the rainwater harvesting can be done and drought resistant crops we can grow. Means some of the water they can't means they don't want so much of water, but some crops they may want so much of water. Means if there is less rainfall in that season means we can go for this drought resistant crops. Next one is perception. We have to educate the people on how to save the water, and water saving practices can be done among the public, and we have to tell the importance of this drought preparedness also. Next one is mitigation, and in this one how we are going to mitigate these droughts means we have to develop the sustainable water management practices, and we can go for this afforestation or reforestation, so that can improve the irrigation efficiency also. Okay, means if irrigation efficiency improved means, if droughts also happen means, that will not give very much impact towards the economic loss of our country sometimes. Means we have to know about this water management practices. Afforestation can be done, so there will be some somewhat mitigation can be done by this droughts. Next one is what is meant by extraplanetary hazard, means that can be originate outside of the Earth, such as asteroid impact, solar flares, and also the cosmic radiation. These are having the catastrophic consequences for the planet. Why? Because when very huge asteroid hit our Earth means, that may also a dangerous towards the Earth. Why? Because at that time so many extinctions can be done. Example is a dinosaur extinction, and solar flame means direct radiations of this sun radiation means, that is also one of the big impact towards our Earth also. Next one is a man induced hazards. These disasters can be directly caused due to the humans, that can include the industrial accidents, deforestation, pollution, and also nuclear incidents. And next one is define physical hazards or disaster. Means here we can refer towards the physical processes that may include the earthquakes and soil erosion, landslides, volcanic eruption. These are all comes under this physical hazard or disaster. Means mainly some of them, maybe these hazards can be man-induced or natural occurring also. Next one is soil erosion. What is meant by soil erosion? Here, this is nothing but the process by which soil is removed from one location to another. Means top layer of the soil can be wiped out because of the natural resources like water, air, wind, or also human activities, that can lead towards the loss of fertility nature of the topsoil. Okay, that is called as the soil erosion. And next one is what are the mechanics and forms of this soil erosion? Or first one, that is water erosion, means due to the water also, means what are the erosion we can see means it also includes the sheet erosion, rill erosion, gully erosion, and riverbank erosion. These erosions I already told you, means how it will look like, how these erosions can be done. These are all the water erosions we can see. Next one is wind erosion, and in this wind erosion, the detachment, transportation, and also the deposition of these soil particles by this wind can be seen. It is the wind erosion. Means there will be so much means when the soil is very much loose, means that can be detached easily, or that can be transported, deposited easily from one place to another because of this wind or air. Next one is human induced erosion, means due to the human activities also, how this soil erosion is caused, like overgrazing, because of this overgrazing, and also deforestation, poor land management practices also. These are all can be caused due to the human activities only. Next one is what are the conservative measures of soil erosion, means how we are going to eradicate this soil erosion, means terracing we can done, means like creating the step-like structure on the slopes to reduce the water runoff. Means by doing this one, soil erosion can be controlled easily. Okay. Next one is afforestation, means by planting the trees on that soil, that can also decrease the soil erosion. Why? Because by growing the trees, that can stabilize the soil and that can reduce the erosion also. Means next one is contour plowing, means plowing along these contour lines that can also reduce the soil erosion. Next one is erosion control structure. Means here we will be having this building check dams. Means check dams will be there, and by constructing these check dams we can also control this soil erosion. Retaining walls we may construct, and some of the other constructions can be done to slow down this water flow, and that can capture the eroded soil also. And next one is what is meant by chemical hazards or disasters. In this one, it can be caused due to the release of hazardous chemicals into the environment. When these chemicals directly when they go into the water or air, means that will be huge impact towards this environmental conditions also. Means that will contamination of this water, contamination of this soil or air, that can pose risk towards the ecosystem and also the human health here. Example of this one is release of toxic chemicals. Means from this industrial wastage will be there. Carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, when they released into the air, means that may cause the airborne diseases. Means we may get the respiratory problems like that one. And also by these chemical spills or improper disposal of this hazardous waste. This can all comes under this chemical disasters only. And next one is nuclear explosion. In this nuclear explosion, when there will be release of this radioactive materials into the environment, means that also leads towards the contamination of the air and also towards the health hazard. Next one is define sedimentation process. And in this one, in this sedimentation process, this process by which the sediments are transported and deposited by the water or air or ice also sometimes. Okay, when this ice melted, that melting ice can be flow towards some area. Means the sediments can be comes from one place to another at that time. Means they can be transported and they can be deposited by some area. Means to some area it can be deposited. That is the process of this sedimentation. This sedimentation can also lead towards the environmental problems such as siltation of the rivers, reservoirs and also the coastal areas. Means sedimentation when it occurs, means it will just wipe out the vegetation at that time. Means that can also cause the means these overall sediments can be just they can be stopped at that some place. Means that can cause the huge means standing at some point some that wastage or vegetation, means that will be a big problem towards the environmental because of the siltation of the rivers, reservoirs or some water bodies also. What are the global sedimentation problems we can say? Means river siltation. And in this river siltation, sediment accumulation in these rivers can also reduce the water flow, and that can also risk the floods, and also that can disrupt the aquatic life also. Means there will be so many sediments present in the water bodies and they can't go. Means that also impact the aquatic life, and also floods can be raised at that time. Next one is reservoir sedimentation. And in this reservoir sedimentation, sediments can be built up in reservoirs to reduce their capacity, and it will affect the water supply, hydroelectric water power generation, and also that can lead towards some flood control also. Next one is what is regional sedimentation problems. And in this regional sedimentation problem, delta formation we may see. Means when the excessive sedimentation in these river deltas can also lead towards the land loss that will affect the agriculture and also the sediments. That is called as the regional sedimentation problems. Next one is coastal erosion. And in this coastal erosion, when sediments are occurred along this coastline, means due to human activities and also the natural process, that also comes under this regional sedimentation problems. Next one is control measures of erosion and as well as the sedimentation. Here, when we want erosion and sedimentation to reduce means we can go for the reforestation means we can plant the vegetation to stabilize the soil and that can reduce the erosion also. Next one is sediment traps we can construct means installing the structures to capture these sediments means it also will be beneficial before it will enter the rivers and also the reservoirs means there will be no problem for this water bodies means there will be no damage towards this aquatic life by providing these sediment traps also. Next one is river dredging, and in this river dredging they will be removing excess amount of this sediments from the water bodies to maintain the water flow continuously and the capacity means if the sediments will be there means capacity of that river can be reduced because of the sediments. So by river dredging we can be easily remove these sediments, and by removing this one we can maintain the water flow and we can maintain the exact capacity of that water bodies. And next one is water biological hazards or disaster means these hazards are nothing but caused due to the biological agents such as bacteria, parasites, fungi, viruses, insects, animals. These are all very much threatful towards our human life, agriculture, and also towards the ecosystem. Some of the examples we can see is pandemics. Means COVID pandemic we already know means for the past 5 years we will be suffering because of this COVID coronavirus, and invasive species nothing but non-native species that can also disrupt this local ecosystems and also there will be loss of biodiversity. Next one is pest infestations, and here when there will be large scale outbreaks of this pest that can also devastate this crops and also the forest here. So we can't use this pest infestations. Next one is what is meant by population explosion. Main definition of this one is the rapid increase of this human population that will lead towards the overpopulation, strain on resources, and also the environmental degradation that will increase the vulnerability towards these hazards and also the disaster. That is called as the population explosion. Directly it is nothing but increase in the population means because of this increase in the population, what is the impact towards our economic and environmental conditions, that is called as population explosion. Main impact of this population explosion is resource depletion means when there will be more population means using of the natural resources will be common thing means that will be a impact of this population explosion. Overuse of these natural resources like water, land, and also the energy means whether it may be electricity or whether it may be drinking water facility, everything, construction of this houses, these are all comes under this resource depletion. And next one is environmental degradation, and in this environmental degradation that can be caused due to the deforestation, pollution, and loss of the biodiversity. This can caused due to the increase in the human activities also. Next one is increasing vulnerability means when there is over polluted areas that may be more vulnerable towards this natural disaster. Why? Because if the over pollution will be there means there will be there will be chance for this natural disaster that may cause frequently because of the overpopulation due to this adequate infrastructures or poor living conditions, and there will be so much limited access towards the resources also. So because of this population explosion, these are all the impact we can face. These are the references books. Thank you everyone.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.